Yesterday brought us a huge pile of information about Modern Warfare 2 and consequently, Warzone 2. Whilst there was a lot of exciting information to get stuck into and look forward to, the same old questions that we've all been asking started entering my head. What about a console FOV slider, and will old gen consoles be able to play Warzone 2? One of the questions we do have the direct answer to, and the other question we have to do a little bit of guessing based off the information we do have, because we are still in the dark a little bit. So the good news is that the older generation of consoles, which make up the majority of the player base by the way, will get access to Warzone 2. Previously, some leaks suggested that this wouldn't be the case, but thankfully it is. Now that's great, we will be able to play Warzone 2 all together, but this could impact us getting a console FOV slider. Previously, I've covered how Call of Duty developers have commented that they don't want to add an FOV slider for older generation consoles because it's like having a frame rate slider, so performance would become too poor if they gave PS4 and Xbox One an FOV slider. Then when they were asked why they don't just add it to next-gen consoles, COD devs said that they don't want to increase the skill gap any further. So we know that in the current version of Warzone or Warzone 1, there's absolutely no chance we're getting an FOV slider on console. But the expectation was that on Warzone 2, we will get an FOV slider for consoles because older generations won't have access to it. But now we know that older generation consoles will have access to Warzone 2 along with everybody else, and presumably an FOV slider will still cause performance issues for those players. And on top of that, we're still presuming that Call of Duty still don't want to add to the skill gap any further and add an FOV slider for those reasons. So in a sense, nothing's changed. We have a community that really wants an FOV slider just to make the game fairer for everyone. And then we have a developer team that are aware of what the community wants, but are reluctant to add it for performance issues and mismatched skill gaps. The only real hope that we have now is that Call of Duty do one of three things. The developers change their mind on raising the skill gap too much against old-gen console players, which I find unlikely, or option number 2, the Warzone 2 new engine that's incorporated from Modern Warfare 2 will be able to somehow give us an FOV slider without reducing performance too much. Again, I find this unlikely. A new iteration of Warzone in 2022 is supposed to push the boundaries of what's possible and not be stuck in the past for 10-year-old systems. Then lastly, we have my favorite option of the three. They give everyone an FOV slider, but with a note saying it can affect performance. That way, we get to decide the settings options. I know that I take a few less frames for a little bit more FOV. Of course, they could just remove an FOV slider for everyone. That way, we're all on a level playing field. But that's just crazy talk. Let me know what you think is the best option for Warzone 2 going forward, and if you have any other ideas. If you are on console and trying to get the best graphics possible, by the way, be sure to check this video out where I go over all the best graphics settings specifically for Warzone on console. See ya!